let's go ahead and strap in, if you will, and let's see if we can make this work out. Let's see if we can make this work out. All right, so good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is DSP News, the unreliable ones. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the newsroom and welcome to the Goutopian News Network, your unreliable source for DSP News. This is a Snort report brought to you by SnortBucks Coffee Company, the best beverage company ever. Here we go. Okay, sorry. I'm having a really late morning and late start and just behind by a lot of stuff. So, just slowly trying to catch up. Okay, so hope you guys are doing well, and let's see what our scenario is. Go ahead and fix that. That's that new plugin that I need to see if it works. If not, we're gonna have problems after the fact. Oh shit. Anyway, speaking of problems, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be talking about, let's see here, Darksydephil speaks on the R word in the King of Hate's real meaning. Yikes. That should be eye-opening, but I likely doubt it. So, let's go ahead and move over to my favorite segment. Hopefully your favorite segment. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my TED Talk. So, DSP is going to be talking about the use of the R word, which is, okay, and which he has a very intimate history of using and being used against him, apparently. So I'm anxious to hear some of that. And then the meaning, or the true meaning, of the King of Hate. Let's be honest about that, as it pertains to the King of Hate moniker and whatever. It's just that. He was a hater. He was just as much of a hater then as he is now. Anybody who has more than him, he hates on. He feels like he should have that. He doesn't understand why he has it. He'll give you a bunch of weak-ass, lame excuses on why he should have it or why he's more deserving of it. And wash, rinse, and repeat. DSP has always been intimately acquainted with jealousy. It is what it is. And that's why he copes as hard as he does, believing that other people are jealous of him when he has nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he literally doesn't have shit. The Snort fort isn't his. It's not paid for. You know what I'm saying? He went ahead and put himself in debt with all the shit that's in it, which doesn't really mean anything anyway. He himself doesn't have anything online. There's no community that he can be looked at and be considered an elder statesman, a pillar of, a keystone of, or a leader in. Not the FGC, not the WWE Champions community, not as a streamer on any platform, but let's use Twitch, or on YouTube. He's universally hated, despised, or ignored on all fronts. And it's literally because of who he is. He can't stop just being an asshole. He can't stop being an ungrateful piece of shit. You know what I'm saying? And people are receptive to that. But he's upset that people aren't more receptive to how long he's been around. There's been a lot of people who've been around. What does that mean? What did you do at that time? Nothing. It was all self-serving. And you know what I'm saying? You got what you wanted. You know what I'm saying? Or you were properly paid, I suppose. You're just mad that it doesn't have the longevity. He's mad that he's not looked at as he doesn't get the added benefit of the doubt as other content creators have. But keep in mind, other content creators haven't fucked up nearly as often or as poorly as DSP has. It is what it is. It's straight up and straight ass. Cause and effect. At the end of the day, you fucked around and you found out. You treated people like shit. You treated your peers like shit. You treated the audience like shit. You treated their audiences like shit. You tried to lie, cheat, and manipulate your whole way through. And now, well, not now, you have been for over a decade, as long as he's had detractors, you're being taken to task. And you can't stop it. And you can't overcome it because you're mentally ill and you think that you didn't do anything wrong. And then when you are willing to concede that you may have done something wrong, oh, well, there was no guide to all this, you know, when it comes to YouTube. I didn't know how to handle YouTube success. I didn't know how to handle being a decent person. I didn't know how to yada, yada, yada. No one want to hear that. No one want to hear that. You're a grown-ass man, and I use the term man loosely, but you're supposedly a grown-ass fucking mature adult, and you can't take responsibility for shit. In the exact same way that other lol cows of your stature, Review Tech USA and Wings, just to name a few, and Boogie, can't take responsibility. And Keem, now that I think about it, they can't take any responsibility either. Even Monday Matt, to this day, and depending on how you catch him, still believes that he got set up on that kill stream when he got exposed for Boulder Gate and whatnot, the false flag and shit. He still, in some way, still believes that he got set up, and it was he didn't. The accusations against him aren't actually true, or they're not completely true, or they don't understand his circumstances, or whatever. I mean, years ago that shit was. So the fact that Monday Matt, to some degree, still hasn't fully accepted his responsibility in that just goes to show. It's the tail of the tape. And then he'll never live that down. You know what I'm saying? He's going to always be the Boulder King, right, for that dumbass lie. And he's going to have to handle everything that was going on with it. I think it's easier for Monday Matt to deal with it because he was already being faded out anyway. So it didn't matter. You know what I mean? He was a stepping stone for the kill stream, and then in a few years the kill stream fell apart. So it was what it was. So something to think about. But we'll step into this. We'll see what's what and how it plays out. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. And let's pick something. Let's pick something inviting. Yeah, there we go. That'll work. Pick something inviting. And let's get ourselves set up here. I think this is it. Let's see. Yeah, here it goes. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Excuse me. All right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's see if we can find our notes here, and then we can. Here we go. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're here with Raw Phil, big ups. And this was cut by Diggs, big ups. Let's see here. All right, here we go. Darksydephil speaks on the R word and the King of Hate, the King of Hate's real meaning. This is from February 10th. I'm sorry, I said 20th. February 10th of 2025, the year of the snake. And I think if everything is in line, here we go.
Okay, this is hilarious. I have to address this. Sharpay says, Phil dropped the hard R earlier, but he says freaking instead of fucking. I don't get it. You now understand that the word retarded is not a slur.
I like how he didn't address the second part. He only addressed the first part. That's actually kind of amusing and whatnot. But he picks and chooses too, though. He says fucking too. He says a lot of that dumb shit. And it's him trying to... He doesn't want to say too many, I guess, curse words and whatever. So that's why he picks and chooses like that. Or he just reacts the way he does. Also, that right there is carryover from the situation on Twitch. You remember the whole hateful slurs thing? And whatever. I'm pretty sure, he won't ever admit this, but I'm pretty sure that he did get someone at Twitch to clarify, and they brought up all these examples of his language. And that's what ended up getting his ass taxed, to be honest. But then again, that just falls back into my narrative that I believe DSP will eventually go back to Twitch. He's running out of options. He's going to need to sooner than later.
It's not. Do you know what it means to retard something? It means that it's slowed down. It's meant to not be of full speed or capacity. It means it's being held back. It's not an offensive word. Morons have made it an offensive word because they're a bunch of sissy bitches.
I don't have a problem calling... Great screenshot, by the way. I don't have a problem calling you a retard. At all. I think you're very much the definition of it. For sure. I have no problem with that. That's a fantastic screenshot. That might make a good thumbnail. That might make a good thumbnail. It really represents his stench and him having to smell it. Love that.
There's nothing wrong with the word retard or retarded. It has a meaning. All right? This is the dumbest thing
I wonder, because this is from February, I wonder if this segment is still in DSP's original content. If it's cut out, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if it got cut out.
I've ever heard. We used to use that word every single day on the fucking schoolyard when I was 5 years old.
So at 5 years old, everybody on the schoolyard was calling you retarded? That's pretty telling, Phil. I gotta tell you, that's pretty telling, Phil. Good job with that.
It's not an offensive word. You know, there are offensive words out there. The N-word is an offensive word because it's directed at a certain group of people of a certain race in an offensive way. That's a bad word. Retard and retarded is not a bad word unless...
Okay. Yet again, this goes back to my Twitch narrative. He's still fighting that shit. That shit on Twitch, it still occupies his fucking headspace. That he's still fighting that shit. That's fantastic. Phil, now one, and I may very much be in the minority. I may very much be in the minority with this. Phil said the N-word. I don't care how you want to call it. It was a slip. It was this, that, and there, whatever. He said the N-word. It is what it was. It is what it was. You, according to you, Phil, Twitch absolved you from that, which is what allowed your ass to come back. You're still scared. You're still scared. Because when they hit you with that hateful slurs thing that ended up getting your ass demonetized, that was probably one of the many examples. You may have been able to explain that away, but it doesn't mean that it was taken off of your account or on your file or whatever. It was still there. It was still there. Oh man, the fact this shit still holds weight like that, fantastic.
You are the biggest bitch on the planet. You should get used to it. Okay?
Well, I mean, if you've been called retard from the age of 5, I guess that's the reason why DSP feels the way he does. But that's weird because whenever he's called retard, he blows up real fast. He feels a certain type of way about that shit really, really fast. But why is that, ladies and gentlemen? He's been hearing it on the playground since he was 5 years old. Why is it a problem now in his mid-40s? Early 40s? Huh? Makes you think.
Unbelievable.
Sounds like PTSD, if you ask me. Maybe that's the reason why he's starting to use it now. Maybe he's trying to own the word, right? Maybe he's trying to take back power and whatnot from it. Or something lame like that.
Dumb some people are.
Cope sip.
Okay, let me, my curtains have opened and they're right in my eyes. I can't see. Hold
on. Okay. I thought he bought those blackout curtains that have the little remote thing. Maybe he didn't. Maybe I'm thinking of his ceiling fan. Maybe that's what that is. That's hilarious. When I was 5 years old. How does that equate to anything?
Let me ask this question then, for the geniuses who think that...
Why don't you let that shit go? I thought we've already finished this. Why are you still coming back to it? Oh, that PTSD must hurt, Phil. It must hurt. It must hurt bad. Like that depression, right, Phil? That depression that you've overcome, that you quit cold turkey. You mean like that?
The word retarded is a slur. So when you say mentally stunted, is that a slur too? Because I say it, everyone says mentally stunted and no one bats an eye. That's okay. But if you say the other word, I'm so offended. Why? It means exactly the same thing. Oh, so now...
The cope is incredible. The cope is incredible. Phil, if that's really the case, then why don't you just say mentally stunted then, Phil? If you know that you're getting the response that you're getting. See, this is like that shit that happened to Foodie Beauty. Right around this time, actually, earlier in the year. Big ups to Kind of Sav. If she was watching Foodie Beauty around this time, I'm pretty sure she was. Foodie went through her own little arc with this shit too, especially when she was still in Kuwait before she ain't got her ass and fucking Salah ran out of that shit. She used to get called out for being called for using the R word and all that shit too. Matter of fact, Piggy or Barbecue Chillin' might actually have that. Chicken Pickle might have it too, but I'm pretty sure she went on a hiatus for a bit, so I'm not sure if she was in play. If I can find it, I'll see if I can try to insert that and you can see what I'm talking about. But Charlie Gold might have it now, I think, too. We'll see. I'll do some scavenge hunting and we'll see what we can find out. But she went through her own little arc with this bullshit too. She tried to cope in damn near the exact same way. Hilarious. But they take that word real seriously over there in Girl World.
actually start thinking about it, you're like, oh, so there's no logic there. No, there is no logic. You're an idiot. That's correct. Okay. Big Boss did a $2 super chat. Kinder eggs have a toy in them. Don't eat it whole. Okay, I don't know if there's a Kinder egg in that box or not. I have no idea. Okay. Dentronic says that's like having to rename something that is flame retarded to make it not offensive. Actually, it's retardant, but it means basically the same thing. If something is retardant, it means that it stops something. When you say something is retarded, it means that it's not been to its full capacity. It's been slowed down. So if it's flame retarding, it stops flame. It slows down flame. Get it? But again, people are just so dumb. They take offense at anything.
Oh, fuck.
Why would you be offended at that? That is something that people called me when I was 5 years old. If you call me that today, I'll laugh at you and say, what are you, 5?
So I was right. People were calling you that when you were 5 years old. Let me bring that back. I almost missed that.
Retarding, it stops flame. It slows down flame. Get it? But again, people are just so dumb. They take offense at anything.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you be offended at that? That is something that people called me when I was 5 years old.
Woo! Shit, Phil. Oh, man. I was right. I was right. Oh, the PTSD is real, Phil. Wow. People were calling you retarded when you were 5 years old, and look at how you turned out. It's almost like they knew what they were talking about. That's hilarious. Woo, shit. Don't get me wrong, man. We threw zingers at each other on the fucking field, on the playground and all that bullshit, but, man, I don't think I fucking started hearing that bullshit till maybe my first couple of games online. So, like, Call of Duty, for example, I think is really, like, the first time I actually really heard that. Like, I don't know, we were far more creative, I think, with our shit talk than just calling people retarded, but it is what it is, I guess. I guess it depends on the time you live in.
If you call me that today, I'll laugh at you and say, what are you, 5? It's not offensive.
Wow.
It's not meant to be offensive.
Not meant to be offensive.
There you go. Bonos Temo says, if you're saying it to actually insult a cognitively disabled person, it's a problem. But if you're saying it to a troll or a detractor, it's acceptable. No, if you say that word, retarded, all right, and you say it to someone in this regard, it means you think that they're actually mentally slow, and that's why they'd be dumb and do dumb things and say dumb things and act in a dumb way.
Okay, so that explains you to a T. Fair enough. Please continue.
It doesn't mean you actually believe that they have a physical condition.
Well, I do believe you have a physical condition, to be honest.
It's a word meaning that they are actually mentally slow.
And I do feel that you are mentally slow. So wherever the shoe fits, I suppose.
Which is what the word is meant to mean. That's actually what it means. Don't you get it?
He's coping hard.
I can't believe we're having this discussion that people are that dumb. Really, I just can't. You're that stupid. Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Now we're banning and blocking people. Wow, that's fantastic.
No, you see, CS James, that's the problem. Because people misunderstand. People actually think that when I'm using the word, I'm using it as an insult.
He is. Literally every fucking word that comes out of his mouth is an insult. What are you talking about?
I'm not. It's a genuine descriptor. Okay? I want you to understand something.
So when so when you were playing that one game and that black woman came up on there and you're like, oh my god, black woman, she just steal your bag. Was that a description? Is that what you've seen, Phil? When you were 5 years old, you saw black people running around just snatching people's shit. Oh yeah, according to you, you said you saw a neighbor get their ass beat by a couple of black folk for their bike. And that's why you refused to actually learn how to ride a bike. That's weird because you were offered a bike twice. Now I think about it. I think one was your dad won one at like a fair, or you won one at a fair for something. It was like a raffle or something. and then you were gifted another bike somewhere else and you never learned how to ride them because allegedly a neighbor got beat up and had their bike taken by black folk. So your descriptive, Phil, based on your experiences, is that anytime you see a black person walking towards you, they're trying to steal something from you, right? If you want to go off that logic. I'm going off what he said. That's strange. That's weird. So, Phil, let me ask you another question. Recently, you said that you didn't want to go out there to Hogan's Bar with PPP because it was almost like he wanted something, and you were happily married, and you didn't want to. I guess you had to. It was either gas money or ass or something along those lines. I don't know. But the point is you basically made it sound like that if you did take PPP up on that offer, that you may have to give him gay favors or homosexual favors or whatever. If that's the case, what did you want to proposition John for when he went on all those trips with you? You remember those same trips that you said you paid John's way, you made sure he was taking care of this, that, and the third, but John did the majority of the driving, if not all of it. He's the one that made sure that your ass got up on time. He made sure that he take care of the majority of the filming and all this, that, and the third, right? So what did you try to proposition John to do or for to get him to go on those trips with you? I'm just asking, because the descriptive is that, hey, if PPP wanted me to go out there to do something unsavory for his generosity. So what was John going to have to do to reciprocate your generosity towards him? I'm just asking. I'm literally just asking. Something to think about.
People that sit around all day on the internet,
like yourself,
opening their phones, their laptops, their tablets, their mobile devices, going to one of my detractors' channels.
Oh boy.
Watching the content that they put out every day that's illegally restreamed, that is completely out of context, purposefully over-exaggerated, defamatory, slanderous content, and they legitimately believe it is fact, and then they propagate it, and they have a community based around it, and they have friendships and relationships based around it, and they have memes, entire memes, that if someone says a word, just a single word, Wolverine toy, ooh, and that's how they react. They go just like this, ooh.
Great screenshot. Might make a good thumbnail. Every community's like that, Phil. Every community's like that. So that's a thing. Great screenshot.
Ooh, Wolverine toy. I recognize that. That is not normal human behavior. That is not representative of a regular human's intelligence or behavior. That is showing signs of actual retardation, that your brain has been stunted. And
now I want you to think about what he does literally every day, day in, day out. I want you to think about the stuff that he says and he does, and how he handles basically criticism or praise or the demands, the unrealistic demands that he has for people day in, day out. Does that sound like healthy thinking? Does that sound like rational thought? If he's no different than other streamers, then why don't other streamers say and do the dumb shit that he does? It's not dumb shit because I said it's dumb shit. It's dumb shit because it's universally accepted that this is dumb shit. It was dumb shit the moment I saw it, and it was dumb shit the moment I told other people about it, and they said it was dumb shit. So whether I came to that conclusion myself or in a group setting, it's still dumb shit, no matter what. And I've never seen another streamer do that. Hell, there's ethos who don't do what he does. It's something literally unique to him in some ways. Now you're seeing fucking Review Tech USA and even the people in the locale universe try to emulate that shit. But even then, you can see the resistance or how uncomfortable with it because it's not natural. So just because he can rationalize it doesn't make it any more, any less normal or rational. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, where are we going with this?
you're acting like that. But people don't care because they go through life acting like cows or acting like sheep, and they just go with the flow.
So you try to demonize people like me. When you can't get that to go over, you demonize the people who either ignore it or who actively laugh about it and then move on their way because you can't get them to think the way you think. But if everybody feels that way, or it seems like the way he's describing it, everybody feels that way, doesn't that mean you're theoretically the problem? Interesting.
They don't actually think for themselves. They just act stupid.
Isn't this the same? Isn't this coming from the same retard? Descriptive, by the way. But isn't this coming from the same retard who used to tell people, hey, don't let bigger content creators and or streamers tell you what games are good or not. Think for yourself. But he literally prowls any gaming community, if you will, on Twitter to find out what the hot new game is and then tries to play it. And isn't DSP the same person who says, oh, well, you guys want me to play this game, but no one online is talking about it, so I'm not going to play it. So doesn't that make you a cow? Doesn't that make you sheeple? You can't think for yourself. You won't play games because you actually enjoy it. You're only willing to play games that people are willing to pay for. That makes you sheep. That makes you cattle. If you have to hop to what another man or woman tells you to do, you're not a person. You're an NPC. We'll let him continue. Maybe he'll explain this further.
And there's millions upon millions of people on planet Earth that are literally just stupid creatures that never add anything to the planet. They're just there to exist and take.
That sounds like you, actually, to be honest.
They're dunces. They're just big sucks on natural resources. They're not there to be productive. They're not there to be constructive. They're not there to spread anything positive, happy, or to improve anything for anyone around them.
And what are you doing? How happy is your wife, Catherine, Phil? How much weight did she put on this year? How much weight did she put on last year? How much weight did she put on before that? How happy is she, Phil? Is she ever going to go to Japan, Phil, or has she come to the realization she's never going to make it? Huh? Has she come to the realization that any of the hopes, dreams, and aspirations, if she even had any of those things and whatnot, has she come to the realization that she's never going to get any of it? And that's the reason why she piled all that weight on. That's why she's losing her hair. That's why her health is shit. Did she come to the realization that her husband is nothing more than a leech, a parasite, a cancer on society, and her, by proxy, is now part of that very scenario too? Even if not directly, indirectly? Has she come to the realization, right, that her health and her well-being is nothing more than folly, the fallout, if you will, of a toxic piece of shit who don't even know how to run his own real life, but he has the nerve to go ahead and tell other people how they're doing things wrong? How many other detractors, trolls, haters, and critics, ladies and gentlemen, do you hear or do you know who beg daily? How many streamers do you know in general who act like this guy does? Who conduct themselves in this type of way? If you don't want to go ahead and go off of what you see from him every day, fair enough. You can go, then let's go ahead and judge his scenario, or let's go ahead and judge his situation, and or the people that are around him, or the people that are in his situation or in his life. That person would be his quote unquote soulmate cat. And look at where she's at. You don't blow up like that, no pun intended, but you don't blow up like that and wait for no reason. So either she was, and I hate to say it this way, but I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. She was either damaged goods from a health standpoint. Mentally, she already was, but she was damaged goods before she got there, or she became damaged when she was there. Which one was it? And if she was damaged goods before she got there, he's only furthered that damage. He's only made things worse. If she wasn't fucked up that bad when she got over there, or fucked up at all, at least physically, and now she is the way she is, then that's his fault. So tell me what he does constructive, positive, loving, wholesome. What has he done for her? How has he enriched his wife's life? How is that a thing? Don't worry, I'll wait.
They are just sucks. Big, vacuous existences of sucking on the positive and giving nothing back. Those are my detractors, and those are the people.
So that's why you demand your detractor. Well, maybe not at this point, but eventually you do. Is that why you demand your detractors to give you money? That's funny because Foodie Beauty's doing that right now. Well, Foodie Beauty's been doing that shit. Amberlyn too, where they sit there and say, "Oh, these people are making all this money off me, and they're not giving back. They're not, donating to me or giving me a piece or this, that, and the third, whatever, whatever." But if you're in the entertainment, shouldn't you be already compensated excuse me, I almost say compromise, but they're low cal, so of course they're compromised. But shouldn't you already be compensated if you are the entertainer that you say you are? Or if you're the success that you say you are? That's the thing, right? So now, right here, he's literally saying, hey, my detractors aren't giving their kickbacks. So now you want to depend financially on these people, yet at the same time you shame these people for making money off of you. You say that, oh, these people wouldn't do this if they weren't making money off of me. Now you're saying, oh, well, I deserve a piece of that. I deserve a piece of that money, or I deserve some type of positive, some positive residuals for what they do to me. You can't bring a positive out of a negative, Phil. That's not how that works. Peep the game on this, though. Remember, we're still over there at this point. He's still with Kino. I think he's still heavily entrenched with Kino Casino still. It's starting to wind down, but I'm pretty sure he's still there. Think of that what you will.
People who watch my detractors. Do you get it? Those aren't normal people. Those aren't intelligent, sharp, savvy people who are thinking, who are actively doing something to make life better for people around them. These are just people along for the ride. They're not, I'm not saying that they're suffering.
No, first things first. If you're watching my content, you're not here to enrich my life, right? You know what I'm saying? You come here for a laugh, you come here to bring out your points, and then you move on with your day. That's how it should be. I don't expect you guys to enrich my life any more than I think any of you expect me to enrich yours. If you get something out of this, great. You know what I'm saying? But you don't owe me anything, and I'm just putting my content out there. You know what I'm saying? If you give me the chance, great. If you don't, you don't. No worries. But you don't owe me anything. This isn't a contract. You know what I'm saying? So what the fuck is he talking about? And how does someone allegedly who's a rational, normal, intelligent, well-thinking, well-coordinated person have so many expectations for the people or from the people who absorbs his content? It doesn't make any sense. Didn't DSP, or doesn't he say, that he puts his content out for free? If that's the case, then why is there all this shit that's owed to him, or he feels that's owed to him? What sense does that make? Why does he feel like he's so entitled to so much? Something to think about.
From some kind of a medical condition, I'm saying their brains are stunted because they don't actually take the time to think about what they do. You get it? This is not a slur or an insult. This is a descriptor, an actual adjective to their behavior. If you're describing someone as something and it's accurate, it can't be offensive, stupid. Do you get it?
No, well, I get what he's saying. He's trying to say that when he calls people retarded, he doesn't mean because they have a mental illness. It's because they act the way they act. Great. Okay. No one cares. You know what I'm saying? No one cares. Whether they're physically disabled or whether they just act stupid. If you're going to call them a retard, you're going to call them a retard. If it don't bother you, then fucking take the hit on the chin and keep it pushing. End of story. Or if you really feel a certain type of way, stop using the word and use something else. End of story.
It's only offensive when you use it in a way that you're trying to insult. I'm literally not trying to insult anyone. I'm telling you these.
If you're calling, wait a second. If someone, wait. If you're sitting there saying that someone is acting a certain way that they shouldn't, and you're calling them retarded, that is an insult. What the fuck are you talking about? How retarded are you? That's like saying, oh, when I use the word stupid, I don't mean it in an insulting way. I'm just trying to use it as a descriptive. Bitch, I said it that way because I meant to insult you. You're acting stupid, so I called you stupid. End of story. And see, it's this type of abusive behavior is what he tries to put on the dents. And these dents sit there and fucking believe it. So when he does end up calling them out the way they do, they're supposed to be receptive to it and then change their behavior to what he wants. Do you know how fucking cult-like, mentally ill that sounds? A normal person doesn't try to condition people like this. That's literally what this is. And I was trying to wait for him to have some type of payoff before I pointed that out, but fuck it now. I'm tired of the buildup for this bullshit. Let's just go ahead and move on to where we need to move on with. But this is disgusting. This is why they call everybody over there, or they call what DSP does pignosis, and why that shit's a cult. That's literally why this is. Someone called him out for calling somebody else retarded, and he's literally trying to condition them to saying, when I call you that, you need to accept it because that's what I'm seeing from you. Don't sit there and try to turn it against me like I'm using it as a slur or an insult or whatever. I'm saying this to you because that's how you're acting. So you need to change up. That's literally what he's trying to condition these people to do. This isn't his first time doing it either. It's the first time I've heard him try to explain it in this way, which is, it makes it even worse. It makes it even more cult-like. But whatever, play your cards the way you want to play it.
Behavior. If you're describing someone as something and it's accurate, it can't be offensive, stupid. Do you get it? It's only offensive.
And then it's even more crazy because he's going to say using the word retard isn't offensive, but then he follows that up by calling you stupid. Why? Oh, because stupid is a much safer and widely accepted insult, while he's trying to condition you to accept him saying, calling you a retard. What the fuck? If people can't read through the between the lines on this shit, then there's so much more problems that need to be addressed.
When you use it in a way that you're trying to insult, I'm literally not trying to insult anyone.
Oh,
I'm telling you these people are mentally slow based on their behavior. It's a direct cause and effect. There is no intentional insult here. This is how it is. They're dumb. Get it?
Take that cope sip. There you go. Right on time. He's so predictable. That's one of the reasons why, honestly, that detractor content has what's the word I'm looking for? Proceeded, prospered, prevailed. We'll go with that. We'll go with the 3 Ps. He's that's the reason why it's existed the way it has. You know what I'm saying? Because he is so predictable. He's incredibly predictable. This goes way back to even before this, but it goes back to 2015 when John and Howard both said that he's terrible with PR work. Like, he's terrible with trying to socially deal with shit and whatnot, or try to do damage control or whatever. And one of the reasons were back then, and it's even more true now, is he is so damn predictable. He'll take the littlest thing, the littlest criticism, because remember, this all started off as a criticism against him, and try to normalize it so it can't be used against him again. And he thinks that he's coming at it from a sense of logic or a way of logic and reasoning to go ahead and prove his point, but it doesn't work. It just comes across being cult-like. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not really handling it the way you should. You're taking it far further than it needs to be. Either stop using the word, either keep using the word and own what comes out of it, or use a different descriptor for it, or word it in a different way. Those are your 3 options. Choose your own adventure.
Oh, that's absolutely true. Sylvania says, to be fair, there's people who are pure contrarians to anything you have to say simply because they don't like you. And that's the bottom line, is they will never listen to reason. They will never listen to logic.
You're not reasonable, and you don't have any logic. You don't have any logic, and you're not reasonable. Whatnot. To be honest, it's not a matter of whether I like him or not. He says relatively stupid shit. End of story. And even when, and this is very rare, that he does say something logical, it's already tainted. He already tries to put his spin on it or some type of narrative on it, right? To make it, to further something else that he's been trying to fight, or something that's mentally been fucking with him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not hard to figure that shit out. And he goes out of his way to make sure people don't like him. That's not my problem. He did it to himself. Truth be told, if you're going to be online and if you're going to play the game as hard as he does, you need to stop worrying about people liking you. You know what I'm saying? This is par for the course. He's been dealing with this long enough that he's going to know that people don't like him. Here's the reality, though, that most of you dents don't get. He's not even trying to appeal to you. He already thinks you guys are retarded. He thinks you guys are stupid. He's just trying to further indoctrinate you guys. Or he's making sure that the conditioning, I should say, is still in play. He's literally doing this to try to appeal to detractors. That's literally what this comes down to. It's not even about you anymore. He doesn't need to worry about the sheep that are already in the back. You know what I'm saying? Bah. He doesn't have to worry about none of y'all. He's trying to go ahead and trying to convince his opposition that what he's doing is not wrong. Which is weird, because they've been on your neck this long. What makes you think you're going to convert anybody over? Oh, that lie that he likes to propagate about troll remorse, and people come to him and say, oh, I've been watching detractor content for years, or I've been a detractor for a number of years, and I see the flaws in my ways, and I'm sorry. Shut that shit up. Ain't nobody doing that. You know what I'm saying? They're not doing that. And if they are, they couldn't cut it in the first place. You know what I'm saying? You don't play as hard as you do in this day and age and what we're doing, and you develop troll remorse and you're really going over there. You're more than likely just going to stop, or you just get bored with it. And then you get that demographic, like I said, who are just not built for it in the first place. You've taken this too seriously, or you've become too emotionally involved in it, to be honest. And don't get me wrong, we all got skin in this game in one way or another. Anybody who says that they don't, they're a liar. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's committed to this to some degree or whatever. That doesn't mean that you can't leave. It doesn't mean you can't take a break. It doesn't mean that you don't outgrow this shit. Everybody can respect that. But if you're running over the DSP immediately because you have some type of moral, you came to some moral awakening, that speaks more to you than anybody else. And that's very rare. Most people just stop. It's not hard to do. Or they just stop doing content, but they occasionally watch it or participate in chat or some bullshit. Nothing wrong with that. But the narrative that he puts out there doesn't even exist. It's just trolling. It's just more trolling. And he can't differentiate anymore. Like, he's completely and utterly lost the plot.
Will never listen to fact. To them, reality is an actual fantasy they've created around their narrative, and these weird...
He's literally projecting basically what I said. He's basically spitting it out, which is fantastic, by the way.
Cult-like group communities they have on the internet. People of like mental stuntation who act this way, and they've all grouped together. It's like blood coagulating. You know, it's pretty messed up. No, Grey Zero Taste, I had to go check out. Now I will respond. So Grey Zero Taste did a $10 Australian super chat, which is around like $6.60, something like that American. So not the top super chat, but you know, we'll add it to the leaderboard here.
Can't you just be appreciative of what they give you and just keep it moving? Like, you know what I'm saying? These tip-quisition things are fucking ridiculous, dude. Like, yeah, I appreciate, yeah, if you give me a buck or whatever it is, and whatever your currency is, hey, thanks a lot, put the shit on the leaderboard and move on. All this extra shit and trying to break down what it's worth and everything, people don't need to hear that shit. Do that shit in your own fucking head and keep it moving. It's just disrespectful as hell. At least I think so.
And he says, and CD has been a member for 5 months and says, based. Well, thank you, CD. You know, so, to be honest, I'm just so tired of people on the internet being so ignorant and stupid and trying to say dumb shit. Like, so you can't use words in a factual way anymore to actually describe anything because it's offensive. No, you can. You can. No.
You know, this is really how this is. Let me show you exactly how stupid this is. So on Twitch, right? Not so much now because they're all scared. But at one time or another, Amaran, Alinity, and Pokimane all got caught saying the N-word, and they used some differential of this shit in some ways as cope, and then they eventually just all went ahead and apologized and shut the fuck up about it and whatnot. And it comes back to this strange-ass thing that they were doing on Twitch at that time, where they were trying to normalize the N-word, which is weird, because if they do that, like, you know what I'm saying? Because they were all comfortable, real comfortable with the N-word coming out their mouth. But when anything that pertained to Jews came up, boy, oh boy, they shut the fuck up on it. Let me give you a really good example. Actually, no, let me scratch that because people already tried to defend her on it. But it's still weird how, fuck it, I'll throw it out there anyway. Think of it as a misnomer. This is just a random thing. Sweet Anita, if you guys know, you know. Now, mainly she's known for, well, she thickened up pretty nicely over the years, but she's really mainly known for whoever that stalker was who damn near caught her. They damn near got her ass, if I remember correctly. She was walking into like one of her corner stores or some shit, and there was a dude with a hood that had been following. She swears that person was following her for a couple of days, and they may have been longer than that, honestly. And this was in broad daylight, and this dude, she walked into a store. I don't even think she noticed him, to be honest, but she walked into one of her corner stores to grab something. He comes in after, not long after her, and damn near tries to attack her in the store. Someone peeped game on it, and they tackled his ass, and they found a knife, and they found some other shit on him too. And that turned into a whole rigmarole in itself. That shit was kind of wild, to be honest with you. But she's really known for that, as well as how thick she is. But anyway, a few years ago, because she has Tourette's, right? And she ain't sat there and she blurted out the N-word, hard R. And people in her chat called her out and she said, oh, well, deal with it, whatever, whatever. And it was a big thing for a bit. Not long afterwards, she spewed something out about Jews. I can't remember what it was. She shut the whole damn stream down. She made all of that shit disappear. I mean, she stopped the stream right then and there. VOD was disappeared and all that. Now, obviously, you can find the clip because people clip that shit. But she shut all of that down. Explain to me why that is. Explain to me how the normalization of the N-word seems cool with them and whatever. Hard R, by the way. They were cool with all that. But the moment something that pertains to Jews come up, they make sure all of that shit disappears. All of that. How does that work? Now, let's be honest here. I'm really not that interested. Trust me, I've already came up to my own conclusions on that or whatnot. I'm being rhetorical. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm trying to make a point. You know what I'm saying? Anybody who has tried to push that argument and whatnot, like DSP is and whatnot, they've already tried to do it and they failed at it. And then you're going to go ahead and be this way towards one group of people. But when it comes to another group of people, we have to make sure all that goes away. There's all this apology bullshit that's going on super fast and furious and so on and so forth. It comes across as being weird. You know what I'm saying? It comes across being weird as hell. Now, personally, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I understand why it's cool to go ahead and treat the black folk like this, but when it comes to the Jews, boy, you better get on your knees real fast with that. I understand why they do that, but the fact that those people then didn't see how fucking weird that shit was and how the optics of that shit looked, and now they do. But the fact that they didn't understand how that shit was back at like how it looked initially when they did it, it's fucking crazy, bro. It's fucking crazy. And Twitch still do that shit. And the same coping and bullshit he's doing here is the same shit that Hassan Piker does the way he does. And he's doing it. He's literally advocating for terrorism. You know what I'm saying? Domestically. He's literally calling for that shit. And nothing on Twitch is happening and shit. And when he gets confronted, he gives you a cope that's similar to this. The fuck? The fuck? You see how fucking messed up this shit is? But there's levels to it. That's the point that I'm trying to make. There's levels to this shit. But the cope that he's putting out here is nothing new, ladies and gentlemen. Other people have done it before him. And it very rarely works. The only person I've actually seen do it and get away with it, at least somewhat successfully, I should say, in the fact that he can keep doing what he wants, and it is what it is Hassan Piker. I've never seen anybody else pull what Hassan Piker has done and not get clapped for it. Because Destiny definitely got hit for that shit. H3 got hit for that shit. Eventually, Keemstar got hit for that shit. There's been a lot of people who've gotten clapped for some of the dumb shit that Hassan Piker is doing. And yet somehow, some way, he keeps getting away with it. So anyway, that's a whole nother tangent for something else, for another time. But wild shit though, wild shit. And like I said, as it pertains to the Sweet Anita thing, I don't want to use that as I'll stand by that, but I'm not gonna use that as an example. But it's real weird that everybody's like, oh, Rich was one of the people actually. I think about it. Oh, she has Tourette's. She can't control that. She can't control that. When she blurted out that shit about Jews, Review Tech didn't even speak on that. He left that alone. He left that completely alone. He didn't even bring it up. That shit got swept under the rug fast as hell by everybody. So how is that a thing? And whether DSP knows that or not doesn't even matter. That's clearly something that's instinctive. That's something that's instinctive. Something to think about.
Really, you can. And you need to tell people they're pussies and to grow the fuck up. To stop trying to make the entire world forbidden. What are we going to do? Burn books next?
We've already done that. Well, we still do that, actually. But anyway, we've already done that.
Oh, you know, any book that has that word in it, we got to burn because it's so offensive. Go fuck yourself. How about that? You want offensive? Go sit on a cactus and spin. Stop ruining our world because you're a bunch of fucking sissies and cowards and you can't live with reality, all right?
It's funny, a sensitive person trying to tell other people not to be sensitive. Now, don't get me wrong. He actually makes an interesting point in the fact that we are incredibly overly sensitive, right? Which is true. Not all of us, but you know what I'm saying? Just in general. But the reason why that is because we live in a day and age where everything's about the participation trophies. Everybody's supposed to be equal, this, that, and third, whatever. There's always going to be a class difference. There's always going to be someone above everyone else. That was kind of the point of the Sweet Anita um example I made to you and shit. It is what it is. People know who they can go ahead and get away with doing shit on and who they can't. You know what I'm saying? You can't really stop that. The oversensitivity that we see a lot of, from gaming to music to all the bullshit and whatever, is literally a participation trophy type day we live in. People can't handle criticism anymore. You know what I'm saying? And now people are starting to get scared to even dole it out, to be honest. And that's why Hassan Piker's able to get away with the shit he's getting away with. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, if you do something stupid, you're going to get called out for it. That's not gatekeeping. Someone says you did something stupid, you did something stupid. But now you're getting this narrative that, oh, if you call somebody out, you know, you're gatekeeping in some way, shape. What the fuck? How's that a thing? How is that a thing? Like I said, we've gotten sensitive. And it's because of people like DSP who propagated that shit. Because that's one of the reasons why him and Rich don't get along. Because Rich called DSP out over that Sun and Moon situation. DSP made it sound like, oh, well, you're hurting my chances to be successful as a content creator. Basically gatekeeping, right? Because he got called out for it. Rich is like, how the fuck did that happen? Ironically enough, Rich said that same shit, though, or something similar to it, about other content creators who called his ass out for doing dumb shit. He, at one time or another, tried to use the example or the excuse, oh, they're trying to gatekeep me, and this, that, and the third. They're not letting me have my chance to speak, you know, my side of the story. No one's telling you or preventing you from talking. That's not what gatekeeping is, retard. You're acting like a fucking idiot, and people called you a fucking idiot. If people choose to go over there and listen to you or hear your side of the story, then they can. No one's preventing from that. Most people don't even know what the fucking term gatekeeping means anymore. Fucking weird as shit, bro. Weird as shit.
All right. Mayor Charlie did a $5 super chat. He says, I'm disabled, but I'm okay with you saying the word retarded because I'm not using it in a manner that's disrespecting anyone who may have that condition. I'm using it in the word as a descriptor. It's different. I think the problem is people turned the word into a medical condition. That's not the purpose of the word.
Okay, I'm gonna let you play your situation out. You just dig yourself a bigger hole, man. Just shut the fuck up. Just keep it pushing. Just keep it pushing. You know what I'm saying? Holy fuck.
The purpose of the word means to hold back, to slow down. You know what I'm saying? That's what the word means. So if you're using it...
So if your body's working against you to where you can't do everyday shit because your body's preventing you from that, then what is that called, Phil? All right, whatever.
In that regard, saying someone is that, you're saying you are mentally stunted. You are actually held back mentally. They're not a normal...
You know, it's really weird too, right? Because if you really listen to him, he's basically like, oh, you have a physical disability? Yeah, I don't feel comfortable with calling you that. But if you have a mental disability and whatnot, I can use it all day. It's kind of how he's trying to push it. And that's not how it works, Phil. That's not how it works. You're coping really, really hard, bro. If you're going to use the word, just use the word, man. You take everything that comes with that. You don't get to pick and choose how you use it.
Logical person. That's why you act in an abnormal way. Then it's being used properly. If you're trying to say they actually have that medical condition, that's different. And I've never even used it that way. That's the last thing that I even think of when I use the word, when I say the word. Okay. Oh, the update word? Let's see.
And then quickly wants to deflect and move on to something else. Holy shit.
It did. Cool. All right. Let's get it working again. Uh-oh. Don't tell me it reset everything. There we go. Okay. Here we are. I'm going to be using it shortly. I got to zoom it in slightly more. There we go. That should be good, I think. We'll see. It's supposed to be auto-following me. Is it?
You couldn't finish making your point first before deflecting? All right, bro.
Now it is.
Holy shit.
Okay. I got it working again. Cool. It had a big, another update. And this camera, too, has an update.
How does this mean anything or have anything to do with what we were talking about, Phil?
Yeah, see, it's not going to work now because it updated, so I have to reselect it. Hold on, let me see if I can get it to reselect now.
Fucking dead. Oh my god.
I can get it to reinitialize.
Oh my god. I love how this right here was priority.
There we are. Cool. Excellent. There we are. So apparently this has some visualization updates. I wonder what it did, if it made it actually look a little better. We'll have to see. It is following me right now. Cool. Okay. Sweet. Okay, back to the show. Okay. So thank you to
So you're not gonna follow up at all. Massive deflect. All right, man. Whatever.
Mayor Charlie. Did I add that to the leaderboard? I don't know because I got distracted by the camera.
Oh,
Did I add that to the leaderboard?
Now we're asking if we put someone's fucking contribution on the leaderboard. Jesus, Phil, what a coward. Absolute fucking coward.
No, I'm never going to take back the title King of Hate because here's why. The title King of Hate, which used to be my moniker in the fighting.
Massive deflect! So we're literally never going to go back and finish the rest of that off. Just going to leave it on the plate and just walk away from the table. All right, I guess something else for Cat to finish off, I suppose. Good God, bro. What a coward. Absolute fucking coward. If you're going to be a man and stand on business, man, you got to finish the whole thing off, bro. You can't leave any room for doubt. When you run like this, you open up the narrative for anybody else to pick up and move any way they see fit. And because he's not man enough to handle it or to address it, you know what I'm saying? What they say or what that group says or whatever the case may be will be the narrative. Lock, stock, and trade. It's crazy, bro. Just because you can deflect from a dent doesn't mean everybody else is going to fall for the same trap. Or trick, I should say. Not so much a trap, but a trick.
Game community meant that with all the people on this planet that have said negative things about me, things such as you're not good enough, you're not strong enough,
you're not. I saw that weak ass push up you did, and it wasn't even a push up. You let your pelvis hit the ground and shit with the same type of enthusiasm that fucking Cat or Panda was spread out for you, and then you could barely get your shoulders back up. I say that's screamed weak dick energy, if you ask me.
You're not smart enough.
You're damn sure not smart enough. Holy fuck, you're nowhere nearly as close to intelligent as you think you are. Not even close. Not even close.
Not fast enough.
You're damn well. Let me let that go. Let me let that go.
Can't do it. I use that hate thrown towards me to motivate myself to be good enough, strong enough, fast enough, smart enough, and to persevere.
Shut that shit up. Let me bring this back. Let me bring this shit back. Oh shit, the cope. The cope.
If you're not smart enough.
Oh no, I want that whole quote. Right after the deflection, like a coward.
They've said negative things about me. Things such as you're not good enough. You're not strong enough. You're not smart enough. You're not fast enough. You can't do it. I use that hate thrown towards me to motivate myself to be good enough, strong enough, fast enough, smart enough, and to persevere. I did it in Street Fighter.
4th place was persevering? Whoa. 4th place was persevering. That's what that was. You running around, putting yourself in debt for a bunch of qualifiers that you didn't even win all those qualifiers. Did he win a few of them? Yes, he did. Did he win all of them? No. He placed high enough to be able to get seating. That's all that was. And that year, and the year after that, he also did that gatekeeping bullshit. He still failed. Didn't even make it into the top 10. I don't even know if he made it to the top 20 in 2006 and 2007. And in 2005, he only got 4th. He got 4th in a shitty ass port where the majority of the killers, right, or main competitor, no, the main contenders or former champions didn't even choose to play that year. Some did, but not all. And most of them he didn't even beat. He didn't even meet some of those guys. Most of those guys got cleaned up by other people. The fuck are you talking about? 4th place was you persevering. It was the highest place he ever got, and he never was able to meet that or exceed that. That's persevering? Maybe I don't understand what the definition of perseverance is. Maybe that's what that is. I don't know. Maybe I should check.
Many years, everyone said that I was a scrub and I was never going to do anything.
You didn't. You didn't.
And I ended up winning multiple tournaments, placing incredibly high at Evo, and doing all kinds of things like being a tournament organizer.
Anybody could be a tournament organizer. What's that mean? That's not an achievement and shit. That's not an achievement at all. You were, and let's actually call a spade on that. He's talking about ECC, East Coast Championships, right? The damn tournament was fucking dead. And him and a couple other guys decided to pick up the mantle. It wasn't like anybody came to Darksydephil and said, hey, Phil, we need you to resurrect this. We need you to help us with this, that, and the third. He went ahead and volunteered for the position, right? Because it was open and they were looking for people. They were looking for volunteers. That's what it was. He didn't make the brackets. You know what I'm saying? He didn't put the structure of any of that together. He was just an added hand. Eat a dick. I'm tired of hearing that bullshit about how he was a respected tournament organizer. He didn't organize shit. He was just another hand. That's all he was. He was another hand. Just because he ain't sat there and spent hundreds of dollars on extra bullshit to make it seem like it would be worth giving him brownie points, don't mean fuck all to fuck all. The hell are you talking about? We'll get brownie points for being a tournament organizer. You know what I'm saying? Sorry. A tournament organizer and shit. You didn't originate that. They needed people to help. They needed people to contribute to it so they could have it for that year. If not, it wasn't going to be a tournament that year. End of story. What are you talking about?
And then I became a YouTuber.
And he damn near fucked that up with the Tekken community and the Guilty Gear community that year. He almost fucked that up. Go back and listen to the AlphaISM radios around that time, and it basically lays it all out. What this fucking dumbass did. Trying to make it, he basically said, if it isn't all Capcom, no one gives a shit. And they were like, all right, then we're going to pull our money and go somewhere else. And other people had to step in and be like, whoa, 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 whoa. Don't listen to him. He's fucking retarded. We want your money. We want your participation. He almost fucked it up that bad.
And everyone said, no, you're just an idiot. You never do anything. And then I ended up becoming one of the biggest gaming YouTubers on the planet. And despite over a decade of hate, slander, and defamation thrown towards me, I'm still successful in the modern era. And I'm still pertinent. People are still talking about me in communities like the FGC that I...
No, they're not. They're... If they do that, well, okay. Let's be honest about this. He's definitely someone that you shouldn't follow. He's not someone who has laid down the groundwork that you need to be trying to follow up on. There's that. He's a cautionary tale of nothing else, and that he's just mocked and ridiculed and whatnot. And most people don't even know who the fuck he is. Most of the newer generation don't know who he is outside of being a laughingstock. If that's what we're gonna cope with to make it seem like we're still pertinent, fine. If you want to cope that way, go ahead and do what you got to do, bro. But no one holds you in any fucking real. With any real regard. No one looks at you as an OG and shit. You've never been mentioned in that conversation, and you know you haven't. Because I've seen enough of those conversations on Twitter or X, whatever, and DSP's never brought up ever. And there's a reason for that. Just because you were around at that time does not mean that you did anything of any real substance that should be glorified or should be recognized for you to be given OG status just because you were around at that time. Get the fuck out of here. There was well-loved players who are, sadly, who are dead and gone, and they don't even have OG status. They were just beloved members of the community. Not everybody can get OG status. The fuck are you talking about?
I have no ties to, nor do I have any desire to be in.
That's literally a lie. That's why you fucking harass, well, not harass, but he kind of harasses these people because he's always DMing them and shit. But that's the reason why he sits there to stalk these guys on Twitter. That's why he's stalking them when they're on Twitch and shit. The fuck are you talking about? I don't want to be no parts of it. And then cry like a bitch when he couldn't get Justin or fucking Max to collaborate on with him and shit. And then when he finally did get Justin to kind of collaborate with him and shit, Justin beat your ass 10 matches straight and said, all right, Phil, have a good day and shit. You know what I'm saying? It was like him doing a Make-A-Wish Foundation type scenario, if you will. That's all it was. It was charity. It was nothing more than that. He didn't look at you as an equal. You know what I'm saying? You're just another unfortunate person and shit that he felt some pity for. End of story. Justin's not gonna tell you that because he's a more decent person than I am. But I'll tell you the truth of it. And the thing is, the DSP knows it. Justin don't look at you as an equal. You don't think Justin don't know all the shit you said about his ass? And the fact that he still has it in him to show you an act of kindness because it's very clear that you haven't seen any real kindness in a number of years, he pities you. He pities you. He pities you. You're not an equal to him. You're not on the same plane of existence and shit. You're an unfortunate. That's how he treats you. That's how you should be treated. You're someone who lives day to day on other people's charity and sympathy and pity, and that's all Justin gave you. Nothing more, nothing less.
They're still bringing me up and addressing things that I'm saying, okay?
Because what you say is stupid more often than not, or it's amusing at the very least.
So I'm definitely pertinent, all right? But to say that, oh, you own the hate that's thrown against you and then you use it for motivation, people say, oh, no, he's the king of hate. He's a bigot. He's a sexist. He's a racist.
Yeah, you're all three of those and some.
He's this, he's that, which is all false. But they do that because that's how they try to get, oh, you see, we'll use his own thing against him. And the truth is, people on this planet are very ignorant. The people on Earth will not take 5 minutes to do the research.
You really want someone to do a 5-minute Google search on you and see what's what? You really want to open that? You really want to open Pandora's box on that? All right, then. proceed at your own caution, I suppose.
To actually find out what the moniker means, despite the fact that all the information is readily and easily available. Instead, they'll just believe the absolute worst. So the moment you...
But then again, when it comes down to like game reviews, right? Game reviewers, or other content creators and streamers who have bad reputations, doesn't he do the exact same thing? When Medicare was asking to get an interview with him, didn't he say, oh, well, he says the N-word and he says this, that, and the third, or he does these things, or other people tell me he does these things. I can't be associated with that. Then when Medicare, when it looked like at that time, I should say, that Medicare was literally about, a few days away from clocking out permanently, then all of a sudden, oh, we need to do this interview because you don't have much time left. So you didn't mind doing it when he was healthy, and he was healthy enough to actually, and had the energy to really do that with you. You wanted to do it on your own terms, and you had to get him when he was sick, you had to get him when he was dying, and more importantly, you had to get him when he was vulnerable. That's what that was. Sounds like a predator to me. And it's funny how you try to use Medicare's reputation, or what some people believe Medicare's reputation is, against him to judge whether you want to do something with him or not. But then you overlook Kino Casino's reputation to do something with them? All right.
Hear someone being called the king of hate, think, wow, that guy must be a real hateful asshole who's just, a real disgusting person. And
you are.
No, that's actually not what it ever was, but people are too stupid to figure it out. So you have to stop using it at some point. And especially now, the modern day where everyone went woke and everything, people were definitely using it against me in very negative ways. Like I said,
people have been using it against you. I don't know why you even stopped when you did, because it didn't really help you. And now Ethan Ralph has it. Well, he says he has it. And if it came to a fight between you and Ethan, even verbally, you can't beat him. So womp womp to that.
In 2021, that is actually how they got me kicked off of the Twitch partner program. This is how that they got my Teespring closed. This is how all of that happened.
That's real. I don't think that's actually true. But as it pertains to the Teespring thing, he wasn't selling anything. I honestly think that's what it really came down to. He wasn't moving any merch, and they were like, hey, there's no point in keeping this up, and he was barely updating the shit. So it is what it was.
They sent them basically packaging. He has this website, thekingofhate.com. He uses the King of Hate moniker in his content. And here's some clips from 13 years ago where
of you saying hateful, sexist, bigoted type shit. And what? So the very things you say that you're not, there are examples of you doing, and that's what they sent. That might be true, but I really feel like that's not the actual reason why Teespring got rid of him. But if that's the case, so you went ahead and dropped the moniker, which don't mean shit. You changed the name of your forum, which really don't mean shit. And I'm surprised that, I assume it's dead at this point. But you went ahead and you try to change the name of that. And you try to go on a massive fucking rebrand over Teespring? Over a site that was dead for you, I should say. Was dead for you already. You weren't making no money off Teespring, and Teespring weren't making no money off of, and Teespring wasn't making any money off you. So what? If that's really why he chose the rebrand, he's a fucking idiot. You're a fucking idiot. You sat there and ran around for over a decade with that shit, and you gave it up over some money or over a site where that you weren't even making no money on? And by then, you had already basically poisoned the well with any other sponsorships or endorsements or whatever. So you were never going to really get in with any of those people. And then, excuse me, there is evidence that that DSP may have actually been playing games under some type of sponsorship type situation, and he's not disclosing it. Well, that's weird, because what did he say about fucking Max? Oh, if he doesn't really give a shit about the games. Hashtag ad, dude. Well, if you're in the exact same situation as Max, where someone reached out to you for a deal, and you don't disclose hashtag ad, and yet you still got paid to play that game, what's that say about you? I wonder if that's going to get more traction. If it does, I'm sure someone will make some videos on it. But what are you going to say about that then? And that goes back to, what was that, Mario Sonic Winter Olympics type situation? I remember talking about that when it happened. He didn't disclose that shit when fucking somebody in his audience fucking pressed his ass on that bullshit. Interesting.
He said some stuff, and then they'll play the clip about, me playing Dead Space 2 demo with the stupid Nazi joke that I made, right? So there you go.
There you go.
And that's what got me basically kicked out of everything, despite the fact that it was all untrue. So there's no way that, sadly, I could continue to use the moniker, even if I used it properly and I did convince the world, of what it really meant. They, too many dumb companies out there, too many idiots. So it is what it is.
So you were fighting this literally ridiculous one-sided battle over the word retard. You fought that battle for this long just so you could transition over to the consequences that you have to eat or deal with over the King of Hate moniker? Okay. I suppose. That's kind of wild, but all right then, fair enough. Do you, King?
Moved on positively from it, so. Okay. All right, are we done?
Wow.
I think it's time to end the show.
So he would. Wow. Big ups to Raw Phil. So. Big ups to Raw Phil. Holy shit. Oh, sorry. I got sidetracked for a minute there. So all of that nonsense over the whole R-word situation was him trying to basically prep and or prime them for him to justify the King of Hate moniker. Are you fucking... All right, bro. Like, whatever. I am damn near stunned, bro. That's a whole lot of energy to waste away over literally nothing. I really don't get it, but that's a thing, I suppose. As it pertains to the R-word situation, ladies and gentlemen, either you're gonna use it and own it, or stop using it, or use another fucking derivative in the story. Like, there's no getting around that shit, to be honest with you. Does YouTube, from a monetization standpoint, can that shit hurt him? Yeah, I'm sure it does. I'm sure it hurts me. I'm sure it hurts anybody else too. Whatever. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Either you're going to change up or you're not. So, into that. The King of Hate moniker, though, is absolute bullshit. He hasn't persevered. He hasn't overcome. He hasn't done nothing. And most of the people who said the shit that they said about him, or that said what they said about him, he attacked them first. So let's not act like little Philip was out here trying to play his game and wasn't trying to bother nobody. No, he started shit with people and they came at him. And he used that shit as a fucking defense and shit. People thought that shit was stupid back in the day. I think Triforce, pretty confident, Triforce called him out on that bullshit.
Hold on for a second on both sides. Hold on.
What? You listening to?
Alright,
hold on. I just want to say something before anyone says anything. Now, you hear that, everyone on SFK listeners. Triforce posted
Hello?
numerous times.
okay, you're there now.
Hello?
I make an under-the-belt comment on one person, and DSP says, I justify myself to go around to make under-the-belt comments and reply to people. off of one thing. Let this be a lesson to any of you guys who want to become pro fighters and so forth in the future. You have to be careful of how the media or your enemies will try to treat you. These guys will look for that one mistake you make, and when you make that one mistake, being sorry or atoning doesn't mean anything. This is something that I've learned in life. That doesn't mean anything.
So you
no
admit,
one cares. No one cares.
You're not sorry.
No. I just told you that for everything that everyone has done to me, that one day I just snapped and I said, look, I'm going to let him have a piece of my mind. I said what I said and I meant what I said. Then you just said that Triforce goes around and goes under the belt with anyone once I can't take nothing. No. One situation does not justify my entire behavior, DSP, and that's what you're trying to make it out to be. And that's what all guys like you try to make things out to be. To anyone who makes a mistake. Many people make mistakes out of life. Kobe Bryant cheated on his wife. Does that make him a whore? Does he go and sleep with every other girl because he slept with one? Beat it, man. Get out of here with that. You're not talking to a kid, man. I went under the belt low with Nestor because I didn't like what he said. That's one time. I know a lot of things you do, really, a lot of things you do that's completely uncalled for, or consistently. That's why you're the king of hate, so to speak. And no one questions you. No one goes on the radio and tries to deframe your name. Deframe what name? You like your name deframed. That's what makes you the king of hate. So don't try to imply these little side remarks and all this other stupidness. Get out of here with that. If you have a real question, man, ask a real question. You are not dealing with a child. I don't care if I wear a power glove. If you haven't gotten, I wore a power glove because that's the marketing of my character, my company, idiot.
What the fuck are you talking about, man? That's fucking wild. That's fucking wild. Anywho, if I can find that Triforce clip, I'll try to get that shit in here. If I can at least try to find that, because the way Triforce described it is as accurate as you're gonna get. If I can find it, if I can, I can. But I know it's in an AlphaISM radio. I'm pretty sure it's in their confrontation with each other. Anywho, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening in. I very much appreciate it. I'll catch you guys for the next one of these, whenever that may be. Hopefully sooner than later. The mental gymnastics over this shit was insane. Absolutely insane. And then realistically, he was trying to con them. He was literally trying to con them. He would con them. He was trying to condition them to accept him calling them retards, just like how he calls them idiots and dunces and all that other bullshit. Fucking crazy. And then to try to go ahead and use that shit as a way of justifying the fucking King of Hate moniker? Insane. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Snort Report. This has been DSP News. Always late, never breaking. Unreliable coverage that you can't count on. Oh yes, a GTG Network and Productions for all our subsidiaries and affiliates and whatnot. I've been your host / anchor GTG, and I'm signing off. That's fucking ridiculous that he would do all that. It's just fighting wars on fronts that don't even need to be fought. You already lost. Like, you know what I'm saying? Why are you going to try to fight something that you've already lost? You changed, right? Whether you were forced to or you did it by choice. The point is you changed, so you lost. Shit, man. I'm your host / anchor GTG, and I'm signing off. Take care of yourselves, people. Later. Good God. Ridiculous.